Warning, all the crying in this video, or any sadness, this ending is highly sad, and I would advise you to have discretion and to proceed at your own risk. Also note, there is going to be a fanfiction review in this video, so it might be a little bit long. The floor is heavy and it's hard to put the time gears into place. You put them all in once. I did it. They're in place. Why? Why? I put the time gears in place. Why aren't these streamers stopping? Can't be. Wasn't I too late? The Temporal Tower keep on breaking break apart. If it's too late. Why? This is... Where... Verlum. Oh, Rikez. Where... This is Temporal Tower. Wow, Dialga. You have no cause for alarm. I have regained my reason. What? Temporal Tower has taken heavy damage, but it has survived. Now observe. This... Dialga must be showing this, using telepathy to do so. This is Tree Shroud Forest. Time is moving again. It's Treasure Town. Everyone looks cheerful. Holy crap, that did take a lot of damage. Thus, time is resumed in the places where it stopped. Because you stopped the world's peace has been restored. Really? We did it, Rikez. We finally did it. Allow me to thank you. I thank you for reaching the hidden land. You had the courage to stand up to me, even as I raged out of control. You prevented the ruin of Temporal Tower in the nick of time. Thank you. All this I owe to you. Dialga. But it is not as over as it should be. It will take time. I must see the repair of the Temporal Tower. Let's go home, Rikez. Back to Treasure Town. Take this. Hey guys, I'm reading a 66-page story. This is all in part of to show you the missing gap between when the main character disappears and then comes back and it's found on the beach. Now, the characters are pretty much the same as in the story. The Pokemon in the future do not disappear. Alright? And the only new ones are from the Pokemon from another world. Arceus, Blissey, and Roderick, a male Charmander, Steve, a male Treeko, Percy, a male Bulbasaur, Jenny, a female Torchic, Jasmine, a female Piplup. The prologue, you basically know what happened, and if you guys are just getting this, I'll give you a world rundown. As Rikez and Verlum saved the world from paralysis, and saved Temporal Tower from collapsing, Verlum didn't know that Rikez would disappear if the future is changed. Thus, saying his last words, Rikez said goodbye and disappeared, which left Verlum, who was crying. Carrying Rikez's wish, Verlum went home and spread the story of how they saved the world so that it did not happen again. Meanwhile, everyone was celebrating in Spinda's Cafe for the world being saved by Verlum and Rikez. Then, Meryl came along and found Verlum sitting on Sharpedo Bluff. Oh, hi Meryl. What are you doing here? Why are you asking me that? What are you doing here? Meryl said. You should be celebrating that both you and Rikez are have succeeded in saving the world. But he's not here, and I feel lonely without him. Oh, come on. He saved the world, even knowing that he would disappear. He did that so that we would not suffer in a dark future. Then Verlum shouted, "Then why didn't he tell me that he would disappear? It's so hard for me to accept. He is my best friend." Then Verlum starts to cry. Gosh. Already getting heartbreaking. Meryl went closer to Verlum and said, "Maybe he doesn't want to hurt you. Maybe he didn't do that so then you won't hesitate in saving the world. Besides, Rikez won't like it if you cry all day for him because he disappeared. He sacrificed his life so that we will have a better life, even for you. We all owe Rikez, so come on." Verlum was speechless and then said, "Maybe you're right. Rikez didn't do this for himself. He did this for us." Meryl smiled. Verlum wiped her tears and said, "Thanks, Meryl." "Great. Let's head back to the cafe," Meryl said. Then the two of them head back to the cafe. Everyone had enjoyed staying at the cafe, but when it was nighttime, Chad announced that all guild members must return to the guild. Alright, I'm gonna just move real quick. Then meanwhile, Rikez woke up lying on the floor of an unknown place. He asked himself, "Where am I?" Then, as he looked around, he saw beautiful flowers, tall trees, and many grasses. So many Pokemon as well as so many Pokemon that he'd never seen before. Then, someone approached from behind. It was Arceus. He welcomed Rikez and introduced himself. Then Rikez asked, "Where am I?" Arceus sighed. It took a long pause. "Well, this is the place where all Pokemon lived after their lives on the Pokemon world had finished. You could call it heaven." "What?" Rikez shouted. "Oh, that's right. I did disappear from the world. It was somewhere to dying, I guess." Rikez calmed down. Already getting sad. "Don't worry. You'll have great time here. There are many Pokemon here to bond with. You might meet some new friends, even old ones." "Old ones?" Rikez asked, and gave Arceus a confusing look. Arceus just smiled. "Well, if you know other Pokemon out there who have passed out, maybe you meet them here." "Meet them here?" Then Rikez remembered that all the Pokemon in the future would disappear if the future... "Oh, so we can meet them here?" Rikez asked. "Yep." Arceus replied with a smile. Then he called someone. "Blissey, please come here and escort our guests to room 915. This really doesn't have to be mentioned. Then basically, Rikez and Blissey walk down the hall and they run into a couple of Pokemon, new main characters, nothing really good. And then I basically cut it here. Then they finally reach Rikez's room. At the same exact time, Verlum was in her bed. She couldn't sleep. Thinking about Rikez makes her all sad that he disappeared. Still bearing the sadness, Verlum tried to fall asleep, and somehow did. Also, at that same time, Rikez is pondering on his bed, thinking about Verlum. Is she okay? I wonder how she's doing in the guild. Then Rikez also remembered about Treasure Town. He remembered he missed Pokemon there and wondered what happened in Treasure Town. After all that thinking, he fell asleep. Then, Verlum was woken up by Loudred, that loud fuck. "Well, something is bugging me last night." Verlum replied when they, when Loudred asked what was wrong and why Verlum couldn't get up, she said, "Well, something was bugging me last night." And he just replies, "Okay, you better get and report to Guildmaster for morning briefing." Meanwhile in heaven, Rikez was fast asleep. Then someone knocked on the door. Who is it? Could it be a telemarketer? Could it be a mailman? Could it be a rapist? No, I made that reference too much. Then he went to the door and answered it. As he opened the door, he saw Roderick. Roderick is a character that was one of the main characters I was talking about in the last chapter, where one of the characters in the last chapter that we met in the hallway. Oh, hi Roderick, Rikez said. Rikez replied with a warm hello and good morning. Roderick explained to Rikez that he is here because Roderick wants to give Rikez a tour around the mansion. This sounded good to Rikez, and they both went out. Both of them went to some rooms. First, Rikez knocked on a room several feet away from Rikez's room and said, "Steve, are you there?" Oh my god, Steve. Ugh, could this get any more generic? For God's sakes, it sounds like they're human. And we all know that isn't the case. Steve went out, and Rikez noticed that he was a male Treeko. "Hey Steve, I'd like you to meet a newcomer." "Steve, meet Rikez. He's new in here. Rikez, this is Steve. He's one of my friends." "Hello," Rikez said, extending his hand. Steve accepts it without saying a word, like he's almost mute. God, I totally don't want to trust anyone. "Steve, care to join us?" Roderick asked. Steve nodded as he went with them. Then they all went to another room. "Hey, Percy." Hey, Percy, are you awake?" Roderick shouted as he knocked on the door, saying that same exact sentence. "Hey, Percy, are you awake? Are you awake?" It's like almost like Penny. 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 The door opened and Rikez saw a Bulbasaur. Rikez figured that he was male since he could see inside of the room. Okay, don't want to know what's in that room. Again, Roderick introduced Percy to Rikez and asked him to join him. Then, they went to another room, but this time, it was on the other side of the mansion. Wonder if that's for another gender. Then, Roderick knocked on the door. "Who's there?" Someone replied. "It's Roderick and the others. I'd like you to introduce you to someone." The door opened, and Rikez saw a Torchic. "Okay, come in." All four of them went in, and Rikez saw the room. It was colored in pink, and the room is filled with stuff for girls. Also, he saw a Piplup who was busy with something. Maybe the Torchic and Piplup are both females. "Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell you," Roderick said. He scratched his head. "I called everyone here so that I can introduce you to someone." Rikez then started introducing Rikez to everyone and how he met them. He also said that it was his first time here. Everyone greeted him, and Rikez greeted them back. "Hey Rikez," Roderick said, and Rikez turned to his face. "Can you tell us where you came from before you ended up here?" Rikez then elaborated what happened back then. He told him about the guild, about Verlum, about his career, about being an exploration team, but instead he left out the part that he was human before, as well as the fact that he came from the future and how they did save the world from total paralysis. Everyone was amazed how his life was then. "Wow, you really have a great adventure, huh?" "I only thought you were just an ordinary Pokemon with ordinary life," Roderick said. "You really have great achievements there." "Wow, this guy's really cool. And what's more, I think he's cute," Piplup thought, and he giggled. Everyone knows. "Well, anyway, it'd be rude if we didn't tell you where we came from before." Roderick said, "I'll go first." Alright, now I'm just going to say here that their deaths aren't really that interesting. They barely even refer to it ever again. So this isn't really a good major plot. The only reason I left it in here was for lols. Alright, let's see here. One died from a wartortle trying to protect a godly item. Wonder what that is. Sacred dust. Jenny, then, she was hunting for goods. And she sold those just to support her sick mother. And was partnered with a Graveler. So similar. But then, Graveler flamed her up and was accused for stealing. She told the truth, and the authorities hunted Graveler and decided in the court. Then she was proved innocent, and Graveler proved guilty, but Graveler escaped and looked for her revenge. One day she went out, and Graveler trapped her in a cave, where she couldn't breathe. When the authorities found her, they were too late. She was dead. Percy then elaborated his life where his father was a guardian of the forest, and that when there was a big forest fire, that he was trying to find the source of the fire, was wondering what the source of the fire was, and as he was wondering, he was right under a tree, and he was immobilized by a falling branch. He was struggling, trying to get up, as his father was calling for him, saying that why he stopped, I don't know, and why he didn't evacuate, I have no idea. I think he was helping other people. But besides that, he tries shouting for help, and instead, another branch, this time with flames, fall on him, burn, and kill him. Jasmine, probably one of the saddest stories. Jasmine went in front of Rikez. Jasmine was shaking and blushing. Rikez noticed it. "Are you okay there, Jasmine?" Rikez asked. "Yes," Jasmine replied and calmed down. "Okay, I'll begin." Jasmine elaborated her life. She told that she was like a sea rescuer. She performed rescues in the sea with other rescuers. She rescued stranded Pokemon, ill water Pokemon from even drowning Pokemon. One day, a Pikachu was drowning some meters away from Torpedo Bluff. She tried to rescue the Pikachu. As she grabbed the Pikachu, she tried to drag the Pikachu to shore, but since the Pikachu was freaking out, it mistakenly set out electrical volts, and Jasmine couldn't take such volts. Then the Pikachu's volt struck to the bluff that was right above them. Okay, how is that possible? Isn't rock supposed to reflect electricity? Isn't it an insulator? Jasmine was then pounded by the rocks as she fell to the ocean floor. The rocks somehow affected her breathing underwater, and because of the rocks, she was unable to go above the water. She then saw that two of the rescuers came. One of them helped up the Pikachu, and the other one had looked for her. But then it was too late. Wonder who that Pikachu is. Alright, Then they decided to give Rikez a tour. But however, back in Treasure Town, Verlum finished all of her jobs successfully. Being tired and had no one to chat with, she went to Spinder's Cafe to have a drink. While she was drinking, she saw Bidoof, and then asked her to come talk with her. "So, what's brings you here?" Verlum asked. "Nothing, just wandering around," Bidoof said. Both of them chatted for a while, then Bidoof mentioned Rikez. "So, are you still sad about Rikez?" Verlum sighed and softly said, "Yes." "Don't worry," Bidoof said as he patted Verlum's back. "You must be happy for Rikez. I think he is having a nice long rest there. Maybe Rikez is happy now because the planet's paralysis didn't happen. I think everyone in the future is happy to disappear just to see the world moving again." "Maybe you're right," Verlum said. "Rikez and Grovyle knew that resolve before coming here, and because of that time-traveling accident, Rikez forgot that. Then I found him unconscious." The two of them then chatted for a little bit longer before going back to the guild. Alright, now, just mention here, where is Grovyle? He's one of the Pokemon in the future, and... okay, you know what now. A week has passed since Rikez's disappearance, but Verlum still felt the pain of being left by a good friend. As each day passed, he felt more lonely and became more like himself before he met Rikez. Then everyone noticed he failed his missions one by one. Then, one day, after the morning briefing, Shoutout talked with Verlum about it. "Are you feeling okay, Verlum?" Shoutout said. "What do you mean?" Verlum replied, and gave Shoutout a strange look. "Well, you see, I noticed that you're failing your missions, and get worse every day. Is something bothering you?" Verlum sighed, turning around, and then replied that it was nothing. Shadow already knew that he was feeling the pain of Rikez's disappearance. Then an idea came onto his mind. Hey, Verlum! Shadow called out to Verlum, and Verlum looked at Shadow. Why don't you take a break from work? Take a vacation, maybe 2 or 3 days. Verlum was shocked and said, I don't need any vacation, really. Shadow then replied, oh, come on, this will be the first time that I will give vacations to apprentices, and besides, think of this as a gift for saving the world. You need it. I was talking for that, like, straight. Let's see how long have I been talking. 18 minutes, okay. Meanwhile, back in heaven, Rikez and the others were having fun. Rikez, Roderick, and Percy were playing around with each other. Oh my god, that sounds so wrong in so many ways. Then, Blissey came in and called Rikez. Rikez, Sir Arceus wants to speak with you. Okay, Rikez shouted and followed Blissey. Why did Arceus call me? Then he remembered something and asked Blissey about it. Blissey, may I ask something? What is it? Blissey asked. Well, is there a Grovyle that has been here the day I came here? Blissey brought out a notebook and said, let's see. She opened the notebook and looked for the name Grovyle. After a while, she closed it and said, sorry, there are no Grovyle here yet. Oh. Where is he then? As both Blissey and Rikez walked, Blissey stopped in front of a big chamber and he saw this. Rikez also stopped. Here we are. Blissey knocked at the big door and Arceus and said, Arceus, I brought you Rikez for you. Come in. Arceus replied. Both of them went in and Rikez sat down in front of Arceus while Blissey stood near the door. Then Arceus says, do you still remember your old friend back in the guild, Verlum? Of course I do, I still do. Rikez replied. Arceus said, if you were given the chance, do you want to meet him again? Totally. Then I'll grant your wish. Rikez was shocked at what Arceus had said. Really? How can you do that? I can do that, but I can't explain it now. Tomorrow I'll give you instructions in the mornings. Blissey will come to your room and to escort you. Be prepared by then. Okay, one more thing, Arceus said. No one must know about this except for the 3 of us, okay? Okay, Rikez replied as he left the room with Blissey. Both of them went back to where the others are. Then everyone saw Rikez and Blissey come back. After Rikez met with his friend, Blissey left. While at the guild, everyone had finished dinner. Shadow met with Loudred, and asked Loudred why he must not wake up from tomorrow morning. Why would I do that? It's my duty to wake everyone up. Keep your voice down. That reason is that Verlum needs some rest, and I gave him a vacation. Loudred was shocked. He asked Shadow why he did it. I'll explain it tomorrow. But for now, please don't tell it to everyone yet. Also, you can go to your bed now. Loudred was confused, and he went back to his bed. The next day, everyone in the guild was awake except for Verlum. He was still fast asleep. Shadow gathered everyone for the morning briefing. Meanwhile, Rikez had already prepared, and he met with Blissey. Both of them went to Arceus' chamber, where Arceus gave instructions to Rikez. So, are you prepared to go? Arceus asked. Yep, all set. Okay, before you go, I must give you instructions and warnings. And they are... Now the warnings will be explained. First, you can't be seen by anyone who is still alive. Okay, doesn't that just defeat the whole freaking purpose? You thought he would meet Verlum face to face. Second, you can't touch anything that was physically there, like stones, plants, and even Pokemon. Rikez wasn't shocked by that because he thought if he could touch some things, it would be weird if someone sees him with some making impression that the object will be moving by itself. Third, in some cases, Pokemon still see the spirits of past Pokemon, so avoid being seen and noticed by anyone with that ability. He thought that Arceus just said that no Pokemon could see him. Then Arceus called Rikez to get his attention. Arceus asked Rikez to follow him. They went through a door that was concealed by the shelves. Rikez saw a big circle at the center. There's some strange marks at the circle. There's also a tablet which had footprint runes on it, but Rikez can't read the runes yet. What do you mean, yet? Here we are. This circle will be your pathway back to Earth. So this is the way back to Earth, huh? Rikez, please stand at the center of the circle. Rikez positioned himself at the center of the circle while Archie is positioned in front of the circle and the tablet at the same time. He was facing Rikez and Blissey stood by the door. Shall we begin? Yes, Rikez replied. Rikez started saying words which Rikez couldn't understand, and the marks on the circle lighted one by one. After that, light shone on the circle. Then the light began to light the area of the circle smaller and smaller until the light only shines on Rikez. Good luck on your journey, Archie said as he roared. The light became so bright that Rikez couldn't see a thing. Then Rikez somehow felt that he was lighter than before. After a while, Rikez felt a gentle breeze. He could also hear some waves crashing into the shore. He knew that by then he was at the beach where he and Verlum first met. Rikez opened his eyes. He was right. He was at the beach. He saw bubbles, the sand, the ocean waters, and the sunlight. He knew it was the same place where he met Verlum. He went up on the road, passing Spinda's Cafe, climbing the stairs at the cliff, and he sees the guild. The guild's gates were closed, so that he thought he couldn't go in unless the Pokemon came here and have his footprints inspected. Hold on just a freaking minute. You said that he can't touch physical objects. So wouldn't that mean he technically can just go right through the mountain? You also said rocks he could go through. And technically, since a mountain is a rock, just like the outer interior of it, wouldn't it just be... shouldn't he be able to go through it? I don't understand. He went up the road, passing Spinda's Cafe, climbing the stairs to the cliff. Then he sees the guild. The guild's gate were closed, yada yada yada. So he thought that he can't go in unless a Pokemon was to see. Remembering that it can't be seen, Rikez waits until a Pokemon came. He waited for a while. Then he saw it. Then he saw brown ears. And then he saw that it was no other than Verlum. Rikez was delighted to see that his old friend for a long time. He felt like he didn't meet Verlum for years. As Verlum went to the grate, he tripped. Verlum was shocked. Rikez was shocked. He tried to help Verlum up, but his hands went through Verlum. While he was besides Verlum, he heard Diglett. Oh, it's Verlum, Diglett shouted. How do you know that easily? Loudred asked. He fell flat on his face on the grate. Oh, Loudred said. He went up to the grate to help Verlum. Are you alright, Verlum? Loudred asked while he helped Verlum. I'm okay. Rikez was sad to see what happened to his old friend. Both Verlum and Loudred were inside. Rikez followed him. Rikez was sad in what he saw. What happened to Verlum, he thought. While he followed Verlum, three of them went to the second underground fort, and Loudred separated from the Eevee, leaving Verlum and Rikez behind. Verlum sighed and went to her bed. Rikez followed Verlum to their rooms. Verlum laid on her bed in the way that her face was sinking the bed. Rikez stood near Verlum for the entire time that Verlum laid on the bed. She was murmuring something, but Rikez couldn't hear him. After some time, Verlum and Rikez heard Kimiko calling everyone for dinner. Both of them went to the mess hall. All the guild members ate their dinner, and Rikez brought out a big apple and an orange berry to eat. No one sees the apple, the berry, or Rikez eating those because their food was from heaven. Everyone finishes their food and went to their respective beds. Rikez, I miss you. I wish I could have done or gave you something before you leave. Rikez heard Verlum's statement. Verlum, don't worry about me. I'm fine. Please worry about yourself. Rikez said as he's trying to give Verlum an advice, but Verlum can't hear him. Rikez was sad for that Verlum was still hurt because of Rikez's disappearance. Then Rikez went to his old bed to get some sleep. god. They have his old bed, really? Oh my god. The next day, Rikez woke up. He found that Verlum wasn't there. He pulled the earplugs and kept them in his bag. He went outside. He found Lodred and Diglett doing their sentry duties as usual. As he went up to the Sharpedo Bluff, he saw Sunflower with Bidoof, Corfish, and Kimiko. They were happy as usual during the usual guild work. He looked up the boards. He saw Team Skull. Meanwhile, when he was proceeding to go to Sharpedo Bluff, he saw Verlum gazing at the large sea. He was wondering why she was there. He went near Verlum. Then he realized that Verlum was crying. Verlum, if you left me with a warning back then, I could have not felt this way. Rikez heard it. He was sad, remembering what Dustor said when they went to the Temporal Tower, and what Grovow said before he went back to the future. Sorry, Verlum, Rikez said. Even if you can't hear me, I know it hurts, but it was the best way so that we could finish the mission without any doubts or worries. Rikez stayed with Verlum. Verlum was still crying. After a while, Bidoof and Sunflower saw Verlum. They went near Verlum, and they both tried to cheer Verlum up. Verlum, do you still think about Rikez? Yes, Verlum said, who was still crying. Come on now, Verlum said. If Rikez already passed, please cheer up. Rikez wouldn't want you to see you like this. Yes, but it still hurts. Come on now. Everyone was so sad about what happened. Oh, come on now. Everyone was also sad about what happened. Please don't be like that. I feel like nothing without Rikez. I couldn't even go back to guild. But then if it wasn't Rikez who helped me back then. Please, Verlum, put this behind you soon. I can't. Fine then. Cry all day if you like. Make your life miserable if you want. But don't cry for help when you need it, wimp. Both Rikez and Bidoof were shocked. They knew that Sunflower couldn't do such a thing, even to her worst enemy. Bidoof went to Sunflower. What are you doing, Sunflower? Just wait and see, Sunflower said. She smirked. Meanwhile, Verlum was thinking about what Sunflower had said, and said maybe Sunflower was right. He might make his life miserable. Then she remembered what Rikez said before he disappeared. Verlum wiped her tears and went to Sunflower. Thanks, Sunflower. I owe you. Bidoof wondered what just happened and asked Sunflower. This is part 2 of the 3-hour special. Thanks for watching. We will continue next time as we get the second part of the fanfiction done.